I dive some conchs, I dive fish, I dive lobster. Basically everything.
Why the Millie from last night, girl? You don't think like that.
Because we have about 91 different species of birds.
I lived in Union Island about 55 years now.
So I was born on this little island.
We've been fishing for maybe over 35 years now.
In 2013, the internationally acclaimed participatory mapping method, P3DM, came to Union Island in the Caribbean. The aim was to gather the thoughts, the hopes, and the problems of the people of this island. To highlight how their lives are affecting their coastal resources and how their choices today will influence their future.
Okay, welcome to Union Island one and all. This is an island like no other. We are marginalized by sea from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we function nevertheless.
So Union Island is one of the Grenadines island of St. Vincent. Union Island used to be a plantation. The majority of the things that they plant were Sea Island cotton. And we plant corn, peas, cassava,
potato, pumpkin, okra, those kind of things were in abundance. Everybody had a garden. You could have lived off a garden, in those times.
Once upon a time, this tiny island was nearly self-sufficient. As well as some trading with South America, farming was a way for the family to get the majority of their food. Today, though, the land is dry and largely uncultivated. All that's left of the farming industry is in the sea.
Well, I think my most regular source of income is fishing. If I fish in this area now, where the moon is like between full and last quarter, if I doesn't feel the fish there that much, then maybe I'll have to go to another area. So by doing that on a continual basis, what really happens now is like I can say, okay, with the full moon, I can go to Palm Island and fish. Or with the last quarter moon, I could go to Chatham and fish. So it's like a routine. You learn it and then you just keep it.
Well, the ecosystem as people described it 50 years ago is not what it is now, so it has degraded a great deal. It's still in a good condition where people could still obtain livelihoods from them and tourists could benefit from them, but they have been degraded, and they have been degraded by a lot of reasons, and the coral reef throughout the world have been degrading over the years too, and a lot of the corals that used to exist here are no longer existing too.
The environment with mankind right now is not too nice because they're not taking care of the environment. They more look to destroy than to build it up.
Martin Baratow and his sidekick Arisha Joseph are on a mission to preserve the coastal resources of Union Island. They believe that the most important environmental saviours on this island are the people themselves, the Unionites.
One is because they know what's going on. They have the best knowledge of their resources, and they have answers they know some of the solutions that could be had. And another more important reason, you want them to own what you're doing, you want them to respect it, and you want them to protect it. And the only way that would be done is if they are involved and then they feel that they have a right as part of the process and it belongs to them and it benefits their livelihoods and their sustenance in the long run.
I need to see more young people get jobs because some of them coming from school have nothing to do, just sit home. When they sit home, they go by the roadside and just lime, have nothing else to do.
If the young people get little work to do, I think they could keep away from the drugs.
To understand the coastal ecosystem, we need to understand the people who use it. So what do Unionites do to make their living today?
We get tertiary education and then we come back home to look for a job and there's none available, you know.
You know, we do not have any industry or anything like that. Everybody got to make a job on their own, you know, create your own job.
And the race is off. And the race is off. Get on.
It depends basically on the visitors for our income generating. Whether it's the people at the market, whether it's the water taxis operator, the people at the airport.
They do kite surfing or whatever you call it, you know. And it's very good. We look at it, well, we never try it. So they are making use of the sea and the air. You know, when they have good breeze, they got good surfing going. And we will stand by and watch. Because we are not accustomed doing those things. We see them on TV now because we have electricity and all these kind of things, and now we get to see it real, you know, so there's a lot of changes. And right now Union Island is moving forward. We can say that we are in touch with all over the world right now.
Now we have cell phones and more computers, and we have the cable television.
Union Island is well and truly in the 21st century. But this hasn't helped the employment issue. The islanders rely on tourism, which is seasonal and prone to significant fluctuations. Not only that, but it skewed the average income. Some people got rich and others got nothing. And with the big bucks to be made, working the land becomes less and less appealing.
Well, it's kind of worrying because they just depend on things from overseas, which while they could go to the land and do something, but nobody wants to go back to the land. And I think it's a good reason for not going back to the land because we are not getting the kind of rain that we used to get years ago.
When you add the threat of hurricanes and the growing impact of climate change, it's not surprising that many Unionites feel that the collapse of their coastal resources is being fueled by forces beyond their control. But community mapping provides a unique platform on which to visualise cause and effect over space and time. Where environmental degradation has occurred, the question becomes, what came before and why did it happen?
Big Sand Way to erode it so bad right now. We see all the rocks, people trying to save their property. We used to go stand in there and just looking at the turtles moving along. They're feeding right there, the ground they used to be. It doesn't happen so anymore. You know.
Certain areas of bad development have caused painful and unnecessary destruction on Union Island. In Big Sands, an empty hotel began with the removal of many mangroves, one of the island's best natural defences against storm surge and erosion. Unfortunately, on an island where employment opportunities are few and far between, the promise of new jobs is a sure way to quieten opposition voices. In the end, too few questions were asked, and the coastline paid the price.
It doesn't make me angry, but it just makes me, what is my feeling? Like sad in a sense that we, the locals of Union Island and the Minister of the Environment didn't see what they're doing to the land. Like I want to know who approved these projects, you know, who was the one responsible for these kinds of projects.
There is more people living now, so there is more demand on the resources. There are more users of it. So what we enjoy today is causing a lot of the destruction of those marine resources.
Big Sands is one of a number of bad developments on Union. and none cause more discussion than the failed marina in the island's second town of Ashton.
Well, it was supposed to be a marina with hotels and stuff like that, you know.
That was supposed to transform the area.
It's supposed to transform the area, but didn't. Well, it did transform the area, but not for the best, but for the worst.
It's right here on the map. It's an area that a developer came in the 90s and presented a plan to the government, and the government gave them the green light, and they started the project. They dredged and filled, altered significant areas within this region of the island, and then the development went bankrupt and left the area the way it was.
That really cut off circulation in one of the most pristine marinas in Union Island, and maybe the largest mangrove area in St. Vincent, but also include coral reef, seagrass bed, and sandy beaches. So that failed marina caused circulation to cut off and caused a lot of death of marine life, and really destroyed the critical nursery area that is there.
As the final touches of paint are added to the model, Union Island's trials and tribulations are captured in time. Now it's time to turn to the future. With the community's input in hand, Martin and Orisha already have plans afoot to raise international funds to help with the reconstruction work on Ashton Laguna.
The community would like that to be resolved and addressed, and throughout the process we came up with a number of things we could do. One of it is to again probably look at an eco-friendly marina that could be built, but ensuring that the mangroves are still intact, the coral reef are restored, including the seagrass bed and sandy beaches.
But the real capacity to preserve the coastal ecosystem remains with the people of this island. Their choices today will determine how their world will look in the future.
You gotta run, run! Hey! Union Island! Hey, Union Island, let's put him at the lead,